Hello, hello, hello. Here we are once again, live at 5 p.m. Kenya time. This is Queen Mother Speaks, and I am Queen Mother, and I'm delighted to be with you this day, this month in June. Guess what? We are ending season 11 and we'll be going into season 12. But we'll talk about season 12 in a minute. Let me just continue to say, give you our station ID, and that is Wonderful Wednesday to each and every one of you. Our new season theme, this season theme, as you know, is the only impossible journey is the one that you never began. So we were asking that you stay aligned with your New Year's resolutions and pay attention to wisdom words from the elders. That is our theme for this season. And as you well know, the month of May, we celebrated mothers. And in this month of June, we are celebrating fathers and father figures. Okay, in addition to this being season 11 and what our theme is here to remind you that we're actually the ones that we've been waiting for. Say it to yourself. I am the one I've been waiting for. And you are the one that we've been waiting for. All right. So, since you know that you're the one that you've been waiting for, what do you need to do to be on your goal? What do you need to do to make sure that everything you're doing is in line with what your resolution is for this year? I'd like to give a shout out to the late Dr. Johnny Coleman. You know, she wrote a book that was called It Works If You Work It. It was a very small book, but I'm telling you, it was very powerful. So we take that as part of our theme also for this season. Life works if you work it. Hit that like, share, comment button. And we're pleased to say that we are expecting our co host, Nana, in the house. She's having some technical difficulty. So we hope she'll make it in. On the other hand, Rakaya may just drop in for a cameo appearance. So the ladies are out doing things in the world as they always do, but we're happy to be with you here on Queen Mother Speaks. I am Dashanaba King, also known as Ella King, the baby child of Floyd and Eugenia King, and I am Queen Mother Speaks. Let me give a few shout outs to our social media followers: Charles Champ Walker, Eric Jabutu, Reverend Virginia Miller. We have Gail Rothstein, Radhika Desai, Rashida Walker, Daniel Ngugi, and Mr. James Harness. You may remember that James Harness was on the Queen Mother Speaks show last year. He is part of a repertoire where they do old Negro spirituals and gospels, and they did a lot for the 4th of July celebration. Perhaps we'll be able to bring them in again at some point this year. So now, our tributes today goes out to, will be appreciation messages to fathers and father figures. And we give gratitude to male figures in our lives. So we invite you to do the same today. Now, what we want you to do is to write in the chat box appreciation to any male or male figure in your life. Say who they are and state how you want to appreciate them. And we will be reading out all of those on the show today. Remember to hit that like, share, comment button. And if this is your first time tuning into Queen Mother Speaks, we'd like to say thank you for tuning in, because we recognize that you could be doing a lot of other things, but you chose this time to be with us. And for that, we are very grateful. We will have men, women, and youth having very, very unique, innovative projects and transformative works we will be featuring on the Queen Mother Speaks show. So now, just stay right there and tell us who is rocking life in your world. Who's doing it in your world? Send us a message. Info.com/Queen Mother Speaks. Send us that person so we can invite them to be a guest right here on the Queen Mother Speaks show. Blessing to all our faithful fans out of Atlanta. And one of those people out of Atlanta is Lady Mo. And guess what? We do have Lady Mo in the studio today. So let me tune in so you can see that she's there. Lady Mo, please greet the studio audience.
Good morning, studio audience. So happy to be here with Queen Mother Speaks.
All right. And good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, because as you know, Queen Mother Speaks is a global show. And today, again, this is our finale show talking about fathers. So today in particular, we will be honoring fathers and father figures. So if there is a father figure in your life right now, jump on your PC or your phone or whatever you have and just type in this info.com/Queen Mother Speaks and send us, come into the studio, go into the chat room and give us your specific message. And we'll read it on the show right here today. Okay. So from the West Coast, USA, we want to thank our fans for your early wake up and your grand rising to watch the show. We appreciate and thank Simkia, who tunes in from Hawaii. Thank you, sweetheart. A college friend from UCLA, Los Angeles, California. Also, hello to Ernestine Mpingo, Councilman Farrell, Red, Adisa and Kwashi from Los Angeles, Tashmia, Nyla, Hakika, and Samantha from San Francisco, California. All right. So at this time, we want to ask you to continue to wash your hands and keep safe. And don't wash your hands because the government is telling you to do so. Wash your hands because it makes sense for you to do it. And you also want your hands to be clean. Isn't that so? This is Queen Mother Speaks, which is a safe space for information, inspiration, and expression. Bonga Dada Bonga is a new platform for women voices. They are here. You can catch them live every Thursday, live at 7 p.m. Kenya time. That's about 12 noon New York time. I want to say thank you to the Honorable Margaret Tolley, Shreya, Rose Mara, Anju, Jay Mwangi, Parita, Rose Okala, Maurice Obuyu, and Estelle, all from Kenya, tuning in to the Queen Mother Speaks show. So, what is this thing we're calling Queen Mother Speaks? Well, I can tell you, it is a community platform for wealthy conversations that matter. That's what Queen Mother Speaks is in a nutshell. We offer commentary and insights to you to raise awareness, to inform, to inspire, to ignite, to involve, to enlighten, to educate. We want you to laugh. We give you updates on expatriating to Africa, words on newsworthy events, wisdom from the elders, and warm, witty dialogue with our guest, like we're going to be having today. Okay, so right now, our host, I am the host. Our co hosts haven't come into the studio, so Queen Mother will continue with the show. And for right now, we're going to go into our meditation. And now, as you remember from the Art of Living Institute, when we started the show during the pandemic, we went around our friends at the Breathing Institute and we learned a lot about breathing, which saved our life over here in Kenya during pandemic time. So Queen Mother decided that she wanted to have every show with breathing in it because it meant so much for me during that period. I've been breathing ever since, and I invite you into it because this is one of the things, ladies and gentlemen, that you can control, and that is your breath. Okay, it is your breath. So we're going to do this breathing exercise. Excuse me, this is one of our guests calling. Let's see what I can do. Hello. Okay, they must have realized they were calling during the show. But this is Queen Mother Speaks. Maybe they'll call back. I really don't have the time to give them a message. So what we're going to do now is get ready to go into our breathing exercise. And when the way we do that is we're going to do 3 breaths, just 3 breaths, right? So we're going to breathe in through the nose. We're going to hold it to the count of 6. And then we're going to exhale slowly, 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 slowly. Exhale to the count of 10. Breathe in to the count of 6. Hold, count of 6. Exhale slowly, slowly, slowly to the count of 10. Are we ready? Okay. All right. Breathe in. Come on. 1. Hold. Okay. We're going to do it again. Breathe in. Hold. Exhale. I want you to center yourself and go within, and we're going to do the last one. Ready? Let's go. Breathe in. Hold. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I don't know, y'all. Breath is powerful. So I invite you to check out Art of Living Institute online and see what classes may be in your area because they are a worldwide organization. So now we're going to go to our meditation reading. I'm going to repeat the topic 3 times, and I'm going to ask you to listen with your heart. Spirit never dies. Spirit never dies. Spirit never dies. We humans have a great aversion for loss, but nothing is lost in spirit. We have to acknowledge that spirit exists in and as a part of each and every one of us. This life spirit is perfect and it's eternal. Whether we acknowledge it or not, it is the essence of everything that is. We should not worry about what we might lose, but accept the fullness that life always provides for us. We should not be overly concerned with the passing of time or the movement of things around us. There's something within us that remains unmovable and speaks for our good. It is the eternal spirit of life, our divine inheritance. I live my life knowing knowing that I am an eternal spiritual being, created to receive all the blessings, all the good and enjoyment of life. I never lose. I win. I grow. Thank you, imagination, in me, through me, as me, around me, through the Christ within. And so it is. Scripture for today, it is not I who live, but Christ who lives in me. Galatians 2:20. That is from a little booklet that's called Daily Thoughts from the Hill, which is created and distributed by Hillside International Truth Center, Atlanta, Georgia, USA. Daily Thoughts from the Hill. Check them out. Google them. You can actually have these little daily thoughts for yourself every day. You can receive them into your email, on your phone, whatever you like, or you can get a hard copy by going to the bookstore there in Atlanta. But for those of you who are in other areas of the world, like myself, you can subscribe and receive your daily thoughts from the hill every day. We've been using them for years, and I'm telling you, I love them. No matter what country I'm in, I always reach for my daily thoughts. I want to thank you again for being a part of the meditation moment. And as you know, we are in the month of June. And June is the ancient Roman goddess of marriage and childbirth. So the month of June is still a very popular month for weddings. I've attended a few this month, and it's also a natural extension of marriage. And Juno, like we stated, was also the goddess of childbirth. So now let's take a look at some of the celebrity birthdays that are happening in the month of June. And if our studio guest, Lady Mo, if you know any June birthdays, you can shout them out. June 21, Jean-Paul Sartre, a philosopher, novelist, and playwright. Michael Gross, actor. John Dillinger, a bank robber. Bill Blass, fashion designer. Chris Christopherson, singer, actor. Ed Bradley, TV journalist. June 22nd, Meryl Streep, who's an Oscar winning actress. June 22nd, Lindsay Wagner, who's also an actress from that movie, which was what, The Bionic Woman, some of you might recall. Dan Brown, Arthur, from the book The Da Vinci Code. Clarence Thomas, Supreme Court Judge, born on June 23. Jack Dempsey, boxing champion, June 24. George Orwell, the scary novelist. You might remember George Orwell. Okay, well, he came to the world on June 25th in 1903. June Lockhart, actress. Clint Eastwood, actor. Carly Simon, singer. Jimmy Walker, actor, comedian. I don't know if you remember that guy, but I sure do. He was very, very, very funny. Helen Keller, the blind author and lecturer, was born on June 27 in 1880. Okay, just a few more I wanted to make mention of. Elon Musk, born in South Africa, as entrepreneur, inventor, and the Tesla Motors and SpaceX. Anybody in today's world might know who that gentleman is. June 29 is the Earth Day for Stokely Carmichael, militant civil rights activist. Susan Hayward, actress, June 30th. Lena Horne, June 30th. Mike Tyson, boxing champion, June 30th. Michael Phelps on June 30th as well. Michael Phelps was the American Olympic medal, multiple gold winner in swimming. You might remember. Okay, so those are just some celebrity birthdays happening in the month of June. Want to give you a few more fan mentions from Sarah and the girls in Dubai, Dr. Willie Butler, Louisiana, Professor Al Gaskins, Ohio, Brother Chess and Lila from New York City. Hey, Queen Mother want to remind you once again to get your chat on. Get your chat on. Hit that like button, that share button, that comment button. All right. So we just want to take a moment right now and appreciate last week's guest. And basically, we had four people, but one of them actually made it to the show, and that was Nana herself. And she gave tribute to her father, Lieutenant Colonel Howard Wilson, a great, great, great man. And God, we couldn't even get all of his accolades in because they were so many. But thank you for sharing with us on last week, Nana. Okay, so again, today being the final day in the month of June, we are finishing off our tributes to fathers and father figures. So, as we well know, Father's Day celebrates and honors the men who have embraced the essential role of fatherhood. On this day, we also thank fathers and father figures. Who are they? Uncles, grandfathers, neighbors, friends, sometimes not even related. But if they took on the role of being a father or father figure, Queen Mother Speaks want to congratulate you today and thank you for stepping into the life of that child that you helped. Because truly, if you stepped in as a father or a father figure, just being there made a world of difference. Okay. All right. So now, just a little bit more about Father's Day, and I want to say that it did not become a permanent national holiday for many years. You see, the bill was introduced under President Woodrow Wilson in 1966, but it wasn't until 1972 that Father's Day officially passed, and that was under President Richard Nixon. Okay, can you believe it? Mother's Day had been celebrated long time before, but eventually Father's Day was accepted. All right, and so that being the case, um, we now have Father's Day, and even here in Kenya, where I am currently, they do celebrate Father's Day, not as widespread as it may be in America or Europe, but it's getting there. All right. And they're starting to celebrate some other holidays, if you will. Of course, listen, they don't need any of our holidays. These folks got holidays every day of the week, just about. Seems like to me every week we're out for some kind of holiday. The Africans have many holidays, many days of the week, and many months in the year. Ah, okay. I've just got a message. They're saying that they're not able to get in. So what I can, oh, that person said they're not able to get in. So all I can do is send them to come in through the regular Queen Mother Speaks. Come in through. Let me just. We'll put them on. This is one of the guests for the show, and maybe we may get them through the phone. I don't know. Let's see. Hi,
what's happening?
hi, sweetheart. We are live on air on the show. If for any reason you cannot come in with the link, did you receive the link?
I have, yes, you sent me the link. I'm even struggling. I have sent you messages. I have gone on Facebook.
Lillian, we are live.
Happening now.
We are live on air right now. So the thing I would recommend that you do is go to facebook.com/Queen Mother Speaks and tune in live from Facebook or YouTube if you can. Okay, and write
That's
your
what
comments.
I'm doing.
Okay, and write your comments there.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, that was one of our guests we were expecting, and something is going on out there in the world. It took me a minute even to get into the studio today, but it's a beautiful day. There's no rain. Of course, there's no sunshine, but there's no clouds. It's just a regular kind of day. And I don't know why it took so long to get in, but I've had call from several people that they're having issues coming into the Queen Mother Speaks studio today. So let me apologize for that. All right. And say that there's really nothing much that I can do other than to ask you to go out, wait a minute, and come back in. Okay. That's about as much as I can do with that. Okay. Let's see some of our comments coming in on the chat board where people are saying, I lost my father when I was small, so I never knew him, but my brother was a father for me. Thank you, brother, from Ann. Okay, so that's what we'll be doing. We'll be reading some of the comments that we're getting from people tuning into the show this evening. Okay, so we're going to bring Lady Mo back into the studio right now.
Hello,
Okay.
and again, good morning, Queen Mother, and to your wonderful
All
guest.
right. So, Mo, let's just take a moment. And, I sent you a question earlier that I wanted you to address. Let me just find that question for you
Please.
right now and just ask you that question before you go into talking about father. I just want to, okay. Okay, here's my question for you to address to the studio guest today, Lady Mo. Fathers, like mothers, are pillars in the development of a child's emotional well being. Children look to their fathers to lay down the rules and enforce them. They also look to their fathers to provide a feeling of security, both physical and emotional. What can you tell us about that in your experience through your father, your experience through your brothers, and your experience through your husband, and your experience through men in your life in terms of being a pillar in the development of a child's emotional well being?
Well, Queen Mother, that's really a loaded sentence, but I can truthfully say to you that because of my father, the late, great Reverend Floyd L. or Floyd Lee King Sr., it helped me in my development. Now, as a child, I might not have totally realized that. I would like to say that it was during my young adult years, and certainly my mature adult years, that I began to place it back. You know, our mom, the late Eugenia Miller King, was such a great influence in our lives, but I had to come to the realization that daddy was too. And in fact, it was my dad, or our dad, who gave me finesse, being able to break barriers, not being afraid, and
Right.
being gutsy, not just open doors, but kick the darn door in. And as
Well,
I would move around the world, in this case, in the Caribbean as a citizen, I realized that a lot of my integrity actually came from my daddy,
Okay.
Reverend Floyd. It did. And I'm happy about it. And then as I moved on to, let's say, my husband, the late jazz saxophonist John James Willikers Jr., by the time we met and started family and moved on in the world, he too was a great inspiration to me. I inspired him, he inspired me. And that's why today I can truthfully say to you and your listening audience that I was so happy, so very, very happy to be born Christmas Day, by the way, to Florida and Eugenia, and go on through my life experience and meet the love of my life. Yes.
All right. All right. What about, talk to us a little bit, Lady Mo, about the community and men in the community who could have had an influence on the emotional well-being of young boys in the community, whether the men was from the church, whether they were from the community center, the school.
Well, if we look at our childhood, we can go first of all, first and foremost, to that church, St. John's Missionary Baptist. That's because we literally saw men step up to the plate, claim what they wanted to do for the children, and they did it. Whether it was taking us on trips to Florida or directing choirs, games and sports, all of this had an impact on us. Yes, it did. And even when I went out of the country, I saw the men who were qualified and willing, making just enormous impacts on children's lives. So it's important. So whatever we do moving forward, like you said, we didn't always even celebrate Father's Day for years. But then when we, the world, came to that realization, we got them more on that platform so that they could indeed become more active. And they did. And I see the importance of it. So whatever we do, let's keep that going. Yes?
Uh-huh. All right. Very well. Very well. Thank you for that. Here's what I will say about men, if you will, or male figures, and being an emotional pillar in the life of a child. And I'm just going to go and speak on from, I'm going to speak on from the community. In the community we were growing up in, of course, there were youngsters, us being, one of them. And it wasn't until maybe I was a teenager that I really began to notice the absence of some things. And then you don't realize that they're being offered or there until you see somebody do it. For example, being female, I may relate more to things that young girls may need and not necessarily young boys. However, I do know that they're all children, but I can recall in the community when I've seen people like we had Mr. Jose Holy in our community growing up. I also remember Leon Osborne, how that Mr. Holy, they would bring food to families.
So
And
did
he
our
would gather
dad.
sometimes the young boys to go with
So did
him
dad.
when they would deliver the food. Yeah,
Yeah,
so did
with
Dad.
bread on his bicycle. It was a
Right,
campaign for the poor that our daddy
yes,
led years and years.
right.
Got on that
He
bike,
did.
rolled all over Birmingham, delivering breads and cakes.
Yes, he did. And what kind was it? Do you remember the name of those cakes? Were those
Oh
called the
man,
Debbie cakes?
honestly, I can't say it at this moment, but he did it. He really, really did it, and it made an impact in people's lives. So, and it
Yeah,
was called the Feed the Hungry campaign. That's what our
yeah,
dad was involved in.
yes.
That helped. That helped.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So going back to talking about the emotional support. So I didn't realize when I saw that happening, I just thought he was taking the children for a nice ride. But as I began to grow, I understood that he was being a pillar for them
Yes, he
by
was.
joining with them and having them to do things with him. I don't know where their fathers were, okay? But I remember this regularly. with him doing things like that. I also can remember years later myself being involved with an organization called the Birmingham Revival Center out of Birmingham, Alabama, which also had a food kitchen. The director of the Birmingham
Okay.
Revival Center was none other than our elder brother,
Mhm.
Leon Osborne,
Mhm.
not bearing the King name, but yet still a brother in his own right in the
That's
King
right.
family.
We
And
dearly
during
love.
the revival center, they would have feeding programs every
Mhm.
day for the homeless. And again,
Yes.
I know that they were providing food, but by the same token, you got a chance to speak to some of those people and you got a chance to say a few words.
That's right.
Okay. And even if I've lived abroad in many countries, where there's been young people, both boys, and girls. I have seen men taking on that father role, taking the boys places, doing things with the boys, just like the women would do things with the girls. So we just want to take a moment and just acknowledge all of them. I want to speak to another point about fathers and see what we can get from there. Let's tackle this one, Lady Mo. How
Okay.
does not having a father affect a man or a boy? How
Well,
does not having a
it
fatherless
could go.
children?
Fatherless children could go in a very, very corrupt, bad way, or it can go in a positive way. It has to
Mhm,
do, in my opinion, Queen Mother, with other inspirational or things that the child was exposed to. For example,
mhm,
my son, John Malcolm Jabari Willikis,
mhm,
father has passed on. And what, 3 years now? And I often ask myself, what gives him motivation to keep going? It's as though
mhm,
when we speak about it, he has little words to say. He said, Mom, I got this. And he moves on, and the task making and the projects that he gets himself involved in, he gets into it. So, whatever his father was able to, what would I say, instill upon him as a young baby, a young boy growing up in the Caribbean, and then later on in Atlanta, it stayed with them. And I'm just marveled at the integrity that this child has. So I'd have to say, if you had that experience of a father figure, and then for
mhm,
whatever reason, death, sickness, illness, or just moving on in life with their
mhm,
lives, try to go back and reflect on the good of what happened. But unfortunately, we do realize that it was not a good take and easy ride for many.
mhm,
Okay? That drugs, alcohol, theft, crime in
mhm,
general kind of
mhm,
permeated the lives of so many young children, girls, boys, and girls. But if we speak of that male figure who carries the lineage,
mhm,
um, some way, my opinion would be, my suggestion would be for them to go back in their memory and in their heart and try to remember something that that father figure had given them. So, you know what? I'm going to try this month. Or I'm going to
mhm,
try that next month that I saw my daddy did or that my daddy told me. Because all I can say is that when I look at my son, he is an example of lessons learned both from me, but in particular for his father. And he's looked
mhm,
at in his family here,
mhm.
as a figure, as a head, as a leader. And he's born the first. So that, like you, he's born the first.
Yeah.
So all those things help. Sometimes it's the littlest thing, but you got to go back and get those things. Just like we go back and study African history and you
Mhm,
know uh, Black History Month and all these things. You got to go back in your soul and in your mind and in your memory and remember something that that male father did to help propel you in life. And if you
mhm,
focus on that in a positive, profound way, I assure you that a change is going to come in your life. So all praises and prayers to the ones who are fatherless, but they are away. Just know that it's there. Ask for it.
Yeah,
The Bible
according
says,
to
ask and you will
okay.
receive.
According to statistics that we read about children who are fatherless, it's saying that many of them may have difficulties with social adjustment and are more likely to report problems with friendships, manifesting behavior problems. Many develop a swaggering about themselves or their life, intimidating persona in an attempt to disguise their underlying fears and some of the resentments and anxieties that they may have, and or even what may be their very own unhappiness. So today we just want to take a moment to all of those young men and young women who grew up fatherless and say to you, we're not happy that they were not there for you. But whoever did show up, in most cases, not all, but in most cases, someone shows up. So whoever it was that showed up for you, be sure that you take time out this month to thank them, no matter
Amen.
what it may have been.
I agree with
Just
that.
take out the time to thank them. And even for the seniors who may live next door or across the street or down the street, take time out in this month of June to just go and say, I just want to wish you a happy Father's Day because you've been a father figure in my life. I would say, as one who's lived abroad for many years, I've had to adopt many mothers and fathers in just about every country I've lived in. And I want to right now just give homage to my father here in Kenya. His name is Elimo Njau. He is Elimo Njau. As you may recall, last year he turned 90. And for this year, Father's Day, we actually honored him. He wasn't feeling well, but when I told him that we were going to take him anywhere he wanted to go in Kenya, he got real happy. And we went to a wonderful, excuse me, get a bottle of water. We went to a wonderful restaurant. And believe it or not, at 90 years old, there were people who recognized him for the artist that he is. You see, he was one of those, what we call radical artists, born out of Tanzania, but for whatever reason moved to Kenya. And he is the one who painted the baptism when they were baptizing the Jesus's followers. He's the one who took that particular scene and painted a black Jesus. And being a member of the Catholic and the Anglican Church at that particular time in history, they were not receptive of that. So he became banned as an artist because he painted like, I'm going to say 10 feet, 6 feet, 10 feet panels. And I think he had like 6 or 7 of them, of the panels, of the whole scene of the baptismal in the Bible. But he sure did have Jesus and many of those disciples painted in color as a person of color.
So he was an activist.
Yeah, way back then.
Artistic art, way back then.
Way back then.
Let's memory live on.
Brother, there was a woman from the Catholic Church who had been sent to Kenya to photograph him and do a story on his work. So the young lady came in from New Jersey over here, got to Kenya, met that man. And the rest is his history. They've been together ever since.
For you, mother, that you were able to connect
together.
with
Now,
people.
he did have a separate family, and he has children from that family as well. So we're just honoring and respecting all that is that we know to be so. But anyway, it was wonderful to spend Father's Day with him. We also had Mr. Karaoke with us on that day. Since I've lived in Kenya, Mr. Karaoke has been one of the people who's been present in my life to do things. I mean, not knowing my way around, whether it was food shopping, trying to find the bank, trying to find the post office, or trying to find the right street to buy a sheet on or a curtain from. All right, he's always been there for me in that regard.
Well, you had that kind of personality where that when
Mhm.
people know that you are in need of something, you're going to get
Mhm.
that help. So we're not
All
even
right.
worried about who will
Wow. Thank you
come,
for
who
that,
will
Mo.
see.
Because tonight
You.
I'm here tonight very hungry. Haven't eaten anything. I had planned to go
They're
shopping,
going
but Queen
to
Mother
take
didn't
you
get
out.
around to that.
Yeah,
So maybe somebody will knock on the door and bring me a plate or something.
I'm sure that they will. Just put it in the universe, my sister. But getting back to
There you
our
go.
own father, Queen
Right.
Mother, now, do you remember when we had to take turns braiding Daddy's hair as little girls?
I
And
remember we had to take
it
turn
was
braiding his hair.
mandatory. And
We used to do
scratching
his
his
fingernails,
fingernails, his hair.
his
This man loved
toes.
fashion. He
What about
loved
this one?
colors.
What about
Oh
this one?
yes, the nose, cleaning of the nose. And then if we did not obey, my people, Daddy will refuse to take us on his bike because, as you recall, he actually took us to school on the back of his grandioso bicycle. And all the kids would look and we say, oh, yo, hello, yo, see you later, alligator. And we just zip on off to school. You and I both. You in the front, me in the back. And we just, in fact, he actually took that same bike, if you recall, I believe it was called Bike Hike for Christ. Speaking of somebody with guts and breaking down barriers, he literally
Yes.
rode that bike from Brooklyn to Birmingham. And it was well covered in the media. Do you recall that?
Yes,
Yes.
I do recall
Yes, he
that
did.
very well.
Yes, he did. That
And
man was active boy.
I was part of making sure that in every city we had some
Uh-huh.
coverage by way of newspaper. And of course,
That's
they
right.
stopped at
And
every
you did
radio
an
station because
excellent
Daddy
job.
was a radio personality for years.
Later in your
Okay.
personality, he sang. And in fact, it was he who would quite often designate his home for the rehearsal studio for the musicians with their gospel
Our
quartets.
house was always the place where they practiced.
It was
I
always
always
there. And
remember.
I say, you see there? That's
Yep.
one of the reasons why I wound up marrying a great musician, because I had
Uh-huh.
heard the music for so long as a child. We weren't
I
able to
see.
be around and play. We had to take that seriously. So
Yeah.
again, getting back to his attributes, he helped. I mean, this man could do anything. He was fearless and well loved too by certain
Mhm.
people. He was, and I appreciate him. I've taken from him, and I will carry his memory in my heart for a very long time till the day I die.
Mm. I want to
Amen.
speak about, in terms of our dad.
Mhm.
I remember being in grade school at Powderly Elementary School, and we were out on the playground. I don't know what happened, but something happened to me. I got hurt.
Oh,
And I remember yelling and screaming and crying and
uh-huh.
I being in pain. And I don't know what happened from there, but shortly thereafter, I know Daddy showed up at the school and he picked me up and he put me on that bike and rode
Mhm.
me to the doctor's office. Let
Mhm.
me say to you, riding on that bike, Daddy driving real fast, trying to get his baby girl to the clinic to see
The
what's going
doctor.
on. Ooh, I just remember the wind blowing. That was the most exciting ride of my life.
I know. I know. He was awesome
On
on
that
that
bicycle with
bicycle.
Daddy.
He was awesome
And
on
then when
that
we got there, of
bicycle.
course, he parked it near the door of the hospital, and he took me right on in. But I just, that ride, that was a ride of my life, riding on
Yes.
that bicycle with Daddy, speeding,
Yeah.
trying to
Even
get me.
even even at
Uh,
school, and then the
yes,
singing. Oh my God! I'm talking about women falling all over benches and everything. But
yes,
one of my favorite songs was "Precious
mm,
Lord." Precious
yes.
Lord. He sang that. Oh, it was over. You know, it was all over for me. And he would go on and record that, and it would be on. It's right now. It's on YouTube. Yeah. Them
Yeah,
bones, dry bones. I mean, what a
yeah.
great inspiration he was in that time of life. So,
We want to give acknowledgement to our dear sister Abimbola Wali, who's tuning into the
oh
Queen Mother Speak show. And she's saying, I remember your father used to
yeah,
ride a
yep,
bike. Listen, my daddy rode a bicycle through the streets of New York City.
yes, you
And when he
did.
got ready, he went on the freeway. Now, you're not supposed to be on the freeway on a bicycle. You're not
That's
supposed to
right.
do that. But sometimes daddy got on the
Really,
freeway on a bicycle,
really.
and the police was doing everything they could to get him off without hurting him or hurting the
That's
cars.
correct.
Okay?
In New York.
They said,
As a
oh,
matter of
no,
fact,
no, there go Mr. Floody. He up on the
that's
freeway.
right. In fact, Queen Mother Abimbola would later on tell me, and hello if you're listening, Queen, over in New York, they had that East Festival, the African Arts Festival in New York, but right now, preparing for it. It's on the 4th, I believe. At any rate, she would tell me later on, girl, I used to see him all. Girl, I didn't know that was your daddy. I said, yeah, girl, that was my daddy. She said, Lord, have mercy. So,
And
you know,
Monifa,
there.
when we tell them about daddy's boombox,
Oh, that was another thing. That was long before them rappers came out with it. I'm talking decades before. The biggest box you could get doing that music.
I don't know. I'm going to say this is a 12-inch ruler right
Uh-huh.
here. This is a 12-inch ruler, and
Yeah.
I'm going to say Daddy's boombox was at least twice this size.
24
Twice,
inches. It
twice the
was.
size,
About 10 by
and
24. Yes,
it
yes, it
was a
was.
huge boombox. And Daddy used to somehow tie that thing to his bicycle
His bicycle. And he
so
would
that
play
he
that
could be
music
listening to music while he's riding.
while
Yes, he
he's
did.
driving. He sure
Oh,
did.
Monifa, but do you
Yeah.
remember? Well, let me tell me, what about this? Do you remember when Daddy built a cover over his bicycle so he
Yes,
could
I
be
do.
riding in the rain? Do you
And then
remember that?
people in City Hall wanted to know how he did it, wanted that as a patent. Yes, I do. And later
Yeah.
on, we will see something that mimicked that. By the way, my being trained in interior design, all of that too, Queen Mother, comes from the fact that Daddy was a carpenter. He would make things. And later on, I would see that. And then I got an interest to go to design school in New York and graduate. So he gave us a lot. He actually gave a lot. He did. You don't realize it, but when you really go back and retrospect and put the pieces together, yes, he did.
Yeah.
He most certainly did.
One of the things that I mostly remember my dad for is that no matter who you were, regardless of the color of your skin, Daddy always had this thing that people have to take care of people. And
He
he had
did.
an organization once called the People's Religious Broadcast. You
Okay.
remember that, Mo?
I don't remember that.
Okay.
I
I think
remember
you were already
broadcasting,
living
but
above.
not under that name.
Uh-huh. Yeah, well, he
Okay.
did have a People's Religious broadcast, and they believed in feeding people, and he would bring people home to eat. And so it
That's
was never a problem or an issue. It was more regular that
mhm.
people would be in the house to eat. And I don't mean just the people
Having a
who
meal.
came for singing and practice. And by the way, and Daddy was teaching his voice lessons to many of the gospel celebrities that you know who are singers and
That's right.
online and singing today. They would
That's right.
stand in our kitchen under that light bulb. There was one light bulb in the ceiling in the kitchen, no cover, just a light bulb. And they would stand under that light bulb and they would sing and sing and sing their
Uh-huh.
hearts out. And I would
Yes,
just be standing right there watching the whole thing, listening to
that's
the harmonies.
that's right.
Okay.
That's right. And
Listening
in
to the
fact, he
harmonies.
taught those musicians voice placement. Third, second,
Mhm.
third. I remember that. Yeah,
Yes,
he
yes.
did. He did. He did. He did. And
And then, and Monifa, I guess the crowning glory would have been the year that the late elder statesman, the Reverend Floyd L. King, was invited to Curacao to perform with his
oh,
group one year. And
well,
I came over to Curacao for that at the
you and my
Holiday
other
Inn.
sisters too.
Yes,
And you
yes.
know what year that was? 1994. Take a look.
Hold it to the side. The light is on it. Lean it.
So,
Okay, that's better. That's better. That's
canto
better.
a cappella. Canto in our language there means sing a cappella. And there you see
Uh-huh. Turn it a
John,
little
my
bit to the
husband's.
side. Turn it a little bit to the side because the light is on it. So
Is
angle it
that
a little
better?
bit. Angle it down a little bit. Angle it down. Okay,
Is
great,
that better?
great. Now we can see the picture better. And ladies and
Okay,
gentlemen, if you
there
can
he
see
is
that,
with his no name gospel singers in
yeah.
a 2-day gospel event at the Holiday Beach Hotel in Curacao. And that was actually sponsored by our music school, Creative Sound, with my husband, late John James Willikers Jr., the director of the school. And people, it jam-packed. Well, you recall, 2 days. And that was the last time I saw my dad. So I was just so happy that our sponsors, American Airlines, the hotel itself, and others who helped to sponsor and to bring them all down to see me.
Mhm.
And they had a ball. It was
Oh,
wonderful.
we had a ball. I
We had a
believe.
ball.
Was that
We
my
had a
first trip to
ball.
Curacao? Or had I been there before?
Of course, you had been there when John Malcolm was born.
Oh, okay.
With
So it wasn't my
campers on
first
the
trip.
boat, on a cruise.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
I
don't worry,
love that.
you're gonna
How
have a
about
chance.
that, ladies and gentlemen? Queen Mother was on a 14-day cruise. I
That's
left
right.
out of New Jersey,
Uh-huh.
flew to, where did we go first? We went to one of the islands, Aruba. Our first
Aruba.
stop was Aruba.
Okay,
Okay. And from
that's half
there,
hour away.
From Aruba, we boarded the ship that took us sailing around 7 Caribbean islands. And one of those islands being Curacao, which is where Monifa, Lady Mo, and John James lived. So I surprised her that year on that
Sure.
trip.
That was
Okay.
amazing.
And came and stayed with her a few days.
With a
I
huge
love
box.
that.
I've
That was
never
lots of
seen a
fun.
box of
I'd like to
Pampers
do that
that
again.
big.
Huh?
I've never seen Pampers, a box. I've never seen a box of Pampers that big. I got to box you boy for the newborn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh, that was all so beautiful and all so great. But I don't think that was my first trip to
No,
Curacao.
no, you
No, it
made
wasn't the
several
first.
there
Then I
actually.
had another surprise visit to you when I had come and I checked into the hotel. I come the night before and well, wait, no, I come that early that morning and I got checked in and then I had to find your shop because I didn't know where it was. And I wanted to
Oh,
surprise you. And sure enough, I walked in the door and there you were. Do you remember that?
wow. And the African Queen. And you know what's so
Yes,
interesting
the
about
African
that? I
Queen.
have to inject this in. That
Okay.
became the very first African arts and novelty shop in Curacao, possibly the Dutch Caribbean. And having been an ex-New Yorker, as you know, we were surrounded by that. Right now, they're celebrating 52 years of, the festival and the East family and the East culture. And we actually were a part of that. So when I had a chance to relocate in the Dutch Caribbean, in this case, out in Curacao, I took that with me, not knowing that I would be there for several years. Well, story short, a local citizen, shop owner, African Arts and Clothing, is going to be doing an African fashion celebration this October. And they have notified me that I will be the guest of honor. After
Wow.
having been the very first to open. I said, what? So we're busy with that now. So stay tuned. So you may have a chance to
Yes.
come, you and some of your listeners.
And
You're
I'm
all
sending a message right now, Lady Mo, to Abimbola, letting her know I'd like to book her to come on the Queen Mother Speak show and
oh
talk
good.
about
That's
the African Street Festival.
well
So
actually you may want to speak with Adeyemi. or Brother
Both,
Mensah Wali. She will
both.
turn you on to them. Those are the initiators of it. And
Okay,
you
but
are
you know,
part
I
of that.
actually know I know Ambambola more from the
Than
street
you know them.
festival and Queen Empress's other friends more than
Exactly.
I did Adeyemi, but I did meet him, and of course he
Okay.
moved to
Well, I knew
Atlanta,
him.
and we
Him and
worked at the
Mensah.
museum
Yeah,
together.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Let me just take a moment and say that we have Soul Vegetarian Restaurant here in Nairobi, Kenya. The food is
Okay.
good to you and good for you because it is vegan food. Please call 0742 654 810 and you can register to do a cooking class with them. In fact, Queen Mother Speaks hosts a cooking class once a quarter at Soul Vegetarian. We'll invite you in. You just come in and you excuse me, and you pay for lunch, but in the process, you get to learn how to make 4 or 5 different vegan dishes at Soul Vegetarian. Again, 0742 654 810. Now, if it's sweets that you want to eat,
Mm-hmm.
Lucille's Kitchen. The girl makes sweet potato pies that'll make you slap your mama. That's right.
We
And
grew
sweet
up on
potato
that.
pie season is right around the corner. Please call Lucille's for her mouth-watering treats. 0732567327. 0732567327. Miss Aisha Dafala, who is Kenya's blood ambassador, invites you and you to go to the nearest blood bank and make a deposit. Why? Because we all need blood. So please go and do that. All right. Woven into the Fabric, which is a book, can be purchased on Amazon, written by Sahai Farrell. Woven into the Fabric. You can also join the awareness fight against human trafficking with HAART, HAART, 254-738-506264. That's HAART Atlanta, and a group that I'm very active with in terms of human trafficking. Ladies and gentlemen, this next announcement is exciting. I'm inviting you to be a part of Vanita Discovers Africa 365. Just Google it. Vanita, Venida. Vanita Discovers
Venita.
V-E
Discover. Mm-hmm.
Venida. Vanita Discovers Africa.
DA, not TA.
Vanita Discovers Africa 365. So Google that in and find out what Vanita's doing. She's a sister out of Atlanta. She retired
Oh,
in December last year and decided
oh.
to take a year to travel and visit Africa because this is something she always wanted to do. So she's
Wow.
visiting a different country every month. And the
Good for
first
her.
country she came to, wonder where she came first.
Nairobi.
Nairobi. They sent her to Kenya
Wow.
and told her to look up Queen Mother, and that she did.
Oh, isn't
So
that
she
great?
came
That's
here.
wonderful.
We got a chance to spend time together. She actually stayed with me, and she stayed with others as well. She was here for a month. She did some volunteer work in a few organizations, and then she traveled on to her next city and her next city. And I think right now she's in Senegal. So go ahead and Google Vanita Discovers Africa 365 and see what she
Okay.
is doing.
Very well.
BP Suma supplements are available. These are natural products that are good for your body. BP Suma supplements. Call 0796 509 965 to order. Basically, you can begin to tell them what ailments you may be dealing with, and then they can go through their list of products and tell you what products match up evenly with whatever you may be experiencing at the time.
Very
Once again,
interesting.
Bonga's out of Bonga tomorrow, Thursday, 7 p.m. East Africa time, 12 noon New York time. Okay? Diabetes Peer Support Group every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I would ask you to Google in Diabetes Peer Support Group to find out more. They have a number for you to call for you to register to get into the workshop, but they want to talk to you first because it's a private group. But if you're interested in joining that Diabetes Peer Support Group, a very lively group, by the way, right? Just go online and Google Diabetes Peer Support Group, and they're actually online every Tuesday at 7 p.m. All right, once again, this is Queen Mother Speaks. We come to you live every Wednesday, every week at 5 p.m. East Africa time, 10 a.m. New York time. I believe it's about 4 a.m. in the morning in Hawaii, 7 a.m. California time. I believe it's 5:30 p.m. Dubai time. Okay, so tune in, find your time zone, and tune in to Queen Mother Speaks. We thank you for being a part of the show today. And for those who didn't make it, tune in on next week. In fact, next week, we're moving not only into a new season, would you believe season 12? But also, guess what? Queen Mother Speaks anniversary!
Yay!
Right.
Woo! Yay!
We're
Woo!
planning to do some very exciting things
I
in the month
love
of
it,
July.
girl.
So
You are
please
so blessed.
stay tuned. All
You
right.
are
So we're going to end
blessed.
the show the way we always do, with love, because we
Yes.
learned that love is one of the most healing forces in the universe. And we all need love. So right now, we're going to blow out a kiss with our left hand, a kiss with our right hand, a kiss with both hands. Are you ready, Lady Mo?
I'm ready.
Here we go. And before we do that kiss, starting with our left hand first, I want to
Mhm.
thank you for being on the
Oh,
Queen Mother Speak show today.
oh,
And you're looking just fabulous. And
I'm
I'm so
doing
glad
my
that the
best.
connection is all so good.
Oh,
Okay, are we ready?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, come on. Left hand. Left hand kiss. Come on. All right, thank you. Right hand. Right hand.
I did right. Okay. Yeah.
Now we're going to do both hands. And even though we're
My,
smiling and happy,
my,
we're smiling and happy because we're loving each other and loving being
yes,
here
indeed.
with you. We're going to give you this love now. So we're going to say, whatever's going on in your world,
Oh, yes, Lord.
receive this love to help you see you through the rest of the day.
Yes, indeed. Thank you,
And
my
so it
sister.
is.
And so, a
This
Queen
is
Mother,
Queen
before,
Mother Speaks every Wednesday, every week, live at 5 p.m. Kenya time, 10 a.m. New
yes,
York time, 5-hour time is happening in your zone. Tune in to Queen Mother Speaks anniversary in the
yes.
month of
Oh,
July.
July.
Anniversary